Yeah, I would say, well, since we touched on the topic, I would say I had, how can I put it? I had a tumultuous, that's a good word, time in the business when I started. I started very young. And I'm your like textbook guy that shows how not to do things because I did all the wrong things along the way. I was very young, 16, 17 years old, and there's no handbook that kind of prepares you for the lifestyle, to be honest. You think you know until you get on the road and you're touring and the party starts happening and there's a bunch of drugs and a bunch of alcohol and the women and the not sleeping and all that. Let's just say it just took the best out of me, and I found myself addicted to heroin, cocaine, alcohol, and pills, and anything I could get my hands on for a good 10 years, I would say. I grew up in Mexico, so I dabbled with that stuff. In those days, if you think about it, it was it was abundant. It was part of the culture. If you were a kid, a teenager, there was no way you could keep away from it. That's a fact. And even today, it's a fact. We don't talk about it, but there's an undercurrent of that going on. We can talk about it later, but I think I was 13, 12 when I started smoking, when I started taking the pot. And what it did for me personally, we should do this interview about sobriety because it's going to be a long one separately, but what it did for me is it gave me courage. It got me out of myself. I became this other persona and very confident, and so I like that effect. It made me outgoing and more assertive, and I don't know if it necessarily made me smarter, but in my mind I thought it did. So I liked being under the influence. And so that led to pills, which led to alcohol, which led to the rest. And when I found opiates, when I found heroin, that was it, So before you know it, you develop a hardcore addiction to it, where my existence consisted of me doing it, getting it, running out of it, and getting more. That was it. Everything else suffers. I got married very young. I had 2 kids. My first marriage suffered because of that. Second marriage, another child failed because of that. And all along, I'm trying to be productive in the industry, the music business. So somehow I did. I was a functioning alcoholic addict, if you will. And until it got really bad, things came to a screeching halt when I got in trouble with the law and in my late 20s, and it was time to decide: do I want to keep living like this, or I'm ready to quit? And in my life, in my circumstance, I had divine intervention, no doubt in my mind. It was, for me, it was something that happened in order for me to wake up and realize that I was going to end up in jail, institutions, or death. That's the bottom line. That's where I was headed. So I love life, as you can tell. Everything about life, I'm amazed. I have, my friends joke about it, but I have the attitude of gratitude today, in that I wake up and I have all this energy. I'm grateful to be somewhere. I'm grateful to be anywhere. And then the fact that, we get to travel the world, we get to, I get to play music with some of the people I love and I respect, and build a business, if you will. This is what I do for a living. And I show up and I try to enjoy every minute of it. So that's what I call the attitude of gratitude. The opposite. I was very introverted and very fearful and insecure, and which just amazes me why I would want to play music. I remember the first gig I ever played. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. I couldn't face the audience. You've heard about stories like that about artists. That was me. I mean, it wasn't anything high profile, but it was a family. It was my cousin's birthday, and my dad and my uncle had a brilliant idea. Wow, why don't we have the boys come and play? I wasn't ready. Well, nobody was, and I remember facing, I don't know, we had 100 people, family. It was a big party. I was so nervous, and I was sweating. I almost pissed my pants. Everything you can imagine. And I was singing some songs. So I brought the mic, and my dad got up and said, hey, stop. It's family. Turn around, here's the mic, you have to face that way and smile. If you make mistakes, just keep smiling, and I'll never forget that. So the best advice that anybody could give me for playing in front of an audience, that's when I started taking a little shot of this and going, oh, I feel more confident. Okay, cool. Taking a little pill of that, and oh, I feel better. I feel stronger. I feel wiser. I feel more talented. Blah blah blah. Altering who you are is what it does. You know. That's what alcohol does. That's what smoke. That's what weed does. Pills, opiates, cocaine, the whole thing. I speak from my own experience. So. Absolutely. I was talking about this last night, how it's very easy to see. You know, you get on the tour bus. Listen, get on the tour bus. You leave, you know, all the comforts of home, your wife, your kids, whatever. If you're not married, your girlfriend, or all the comforts of home. You get on the bus. It's a moving vehicle. You're constantly moving, so that in itself creates something, right? To be able to deal with that. You sleep there, you eat there, you spend, 12, 13, 14, 16 hours of the day in that thing, in that vehicle. When you get to another level, you get to nice hotels like this one, but you're in a hotel room by yourself. A lot of downtime. Most of the time when you get to be our age, you're either working out, trying to get energy for the show tonight, or resting, So why not? A little pick me up. I have an issue with sleeping, and I talk about it. And there's nothing that I can take other than over-the-counter stuff. And I'm constantly asking my friends, what are you taking? What are you taking? And if it falls under the category of even slightly addictive, I won't touch it. So melatonin for me is what I do. I wonder if it still works because I've had sleepless nights, many of them. But bottom line, for me, I'm not going to die from lack of sleep. I'm just going to be a little tired. And I'm going to look like this. And that's okay, because that's all I have. So under any circumstances, am I going to be motivated to take anything that will compromise my sobriety? 29 years of sobriety, last September 20th. You're smart. It takes a certain kind of personality, and it is intelligence, because you can project and see what the consequences. All you have to do is look around. Okay, do I want to be that guy sitting there nodding out, scratching his face, for hours at a time? Honestly, that's what happens. I want to be that cat that's working out, living life, being productive, going somewhere in life. Look at him, he's got light around him, he's got an aura, I get chills. I want to be that guy now. But I had to go through that process of learning for myself. So I haven't had a drink or a pill or smoke or any injections of any kind or any snorts. I have my vices. I do snuff, the tobacco thing, which is recently misconstrued to be something else. That's all right, I believe in sobriety. And the people that know me know that it's snuff, it's tobacco. And I'm also working on quitting that. There's so many bands, so many projects up to that point. I had been in the circuit I had a bit of a reputation, a name. I had done some projects. I played with some people. Um, um, I could drop some names, but I wasn't together here, and I wasn't together here, spiritually, emotionally, or psychologically, mentally. I was weak because I had this problem with drugs and alcohol. So let's just say every opportunity that came up was just half-assed. It was just a gamble, you know, if I was even going to get it. I remember auditioning for Cher. I got the call. So I was in pretty good circles. I remember auditioning for Lionel Richie. These are big. This is at the height of when Cher was freaking filling stadiums, and Lionel Richie too. So I remember there, but I also remember going to the bathroom and fixing up, you know, so I could have the courage and go through the audition. So there you go. It wasn't supposed to happen. Chances are I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to handle the pressure, you know. So it didn't happen. I went on. I was doing what I call my jazz years, which for me to this day was the best learning process that I could have imagined, playing with all these cats, music, you know, the musical giants, if you will. Maybe not in profile or by name, but knowledge. And so I went through like 3 or 4 years of just jazz. I wanted to work on that and learn more as a bass player, harmony and melody and rhythms and all that. And so in that environment, it's even more pronounced, believe it or not. So I got in trouble in that, again, I developed strong addiction to heroin, cocaine. I ended up in New York and Florida, playing with some heavy cats. But I had the big addiction of opiates. So it's so funny. Jazz, from the outside looking in, it really looks like people are together. I'm not saying that we're all like that, but generally speaking, at that time when I was in New York and Miami and working around, people had some issues with it, but somehow we functioned. You know, it was part of the environment, and so you fit right in. There's no reason to quit because, you know, a lot of blow, a lot of cocaine. So you continue until I ended up in Las Vegas. There was there was a couple of shows in Las Vegas that called me, and there was a lot of reading involved and a lot of concentration, and there were big shows, and they were paying exuberant amount of money, like in those days. It was like, whoa. So I ended up in Vegas. Long story short, Las Vegas, 24/7 party town, and that's where I really hit my bottom because I couldn't get away from it. So my sister came, sent by my family and some friends, and I came to California to get sober, and that was when the seed was planted. That was in '86. I still needed to go out there and get some arrows on my ass and go through the crap of suffering and feeling helpless and hopeless, and getting to that point again to appreciate. And then finally I got busted, and so that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. I got thrown in jail, you know, and facing 15 years in the penitentiary for drugs. So that's when I had a moment of clarity and a spiritual awakening of sorts. I got on my knees and I prayed, and to this day I haven't touched anything. September 20th at 3 o'clock, 1987. I was 12. The reason I feel that I'm still here is so that I could fly that flag. And that's why I love to talk about sobriety and all the dynamics that go into using, starting, why you use, where you go, and you know, what happened, you know, how you started, what happened, where you're at today. Just to give anybody hope. If there's 2 people out there that might consider getting some help, job's done. So if you have any problems with drugs and alcohol, please check it out. There's a lot of places where you can go, a lot of phone numbers. Just reach out, and it would be mind-blowing. It will blow your mind, the possibilities what sobriety could bring to your life. That's all I want to say. Next. I've been doing a little bit here and there. I'm not on the bigger scale. I'm hoping to. I really believe in it. The amount of highs that I've reached in sobriety way over exceed what I could do with chemicals. Honestly, it's hard to explain. But you have to be ready to make that commitment, you know. If you've already started and you have and you have an addiction, there's obviously one thing you need to do immediately is stop, and that's the hardest thing to do. So there's rooms that can help you with it. There's numbers online. You just reach out, help addiction. Boom, amazing the amount of help that you can get. So you just have to be willing to reach out to realize that you have a problem first. Drug addiction and alcoholism, the common symptom, the first symptom is denial. I don't have it. No, I could stop any time. I could put that. I'm going to take little. I'm going to substitute this for that. That's what I was doing, and ended up being blown up in my face. So that's the hardest step, the first step, realizing that you have an issue. You know, if I get a call from anybody to be of help, I'm here, of service. MarcoMendoza.com. I'm on Facebook. Please reach out, and I will do my best to get to you.